As far back as I can remember, when I was 3, that's what I was doing. But I never thought about it as being a career or something that I wanted to do. It was just something I woke up singing, and then I started watching Doris Day movies and, opened the refrigerator and I started singing. But it didn't come to me until I was about 13 that perhaps I could do it as a career.
Mary Wilson is a born entertainer, and she's one of the few who have made an enduring career, starting as a teenager at a time when the world was changing and music was in the center of the change.
I started singing actually with the Supremes, but we were called the Primettes, and we were in the 8th grade. Um, it's strange how it all started because I entered this talent contest. Not contest, it was a talent show at school. And it was the first time I had gotten on stage and really sang by myself and called myself doing, singing. Florence was on the same show. And after school, we got together and said, everyone's starting these groups. Why don't we think about getting into a group together? A couple of months later, someone approached Diane, who lived across the street, and we started out as the Primettes.
The Primettes quickly became the Supremes, and the rest, as they say, is history.
We were on a Dick Clark tour, and our record, Where Did Our Love Go, became #1. And I think that was the time we looked at each other and we said, wow, we did it! And that was it, when we really knew, because we had been working at least, that was 1964. We started singing in 1958. 59, something like that. So we had a lot of training before we became famous. So when it finally happened, it's like, we knew it, yes, 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 yes.
And you were ready.
And we were ready.
And you were
we
ready.
Were ready. We had a lot of training before we became hits.
Yeah, that's been detailed in your books and books that have been written about the Supremes as well. Grueling things. I mean, you had to learn not just stage presentation, but you had to learn everything.
Yeah. Well, we were very fortunate. You see, at Motown Records, they had a department there called Artist Development. And in that department, we had choreographer teachers, we had music teachers, we had etiquette teachers, we had everything, and we were taught very, very well. And it's something that I think that is kind of needed today. People are not training people how to have careers. And we were taught how. In fact, anytime a Motown act would go on any stage with anybody else, you could always tell a Motown act. You could tell they had been through all of that. So I think it's really good, and it's needed today. I was even thinking of starting a school like that myself, Mary Wilson School of Etiquette. Have all the record companies calling me up and say, hey, Mary, we got this new female group. Would you like to train them? Yes. I am changing, trying everything I can. I'm changing.
But times changed, and so did the music industry, and Mary Wilson was ready to branch out.
And I see myself like a Sammy Davis, who is just an all-around kind of person who just can do everything. It's been very difficult to break away from being one of the Supremes to becoming Mary Wilson, and I think I've only just done that. So right now I can say that's something that if you had asked me that 20 years ago, that's what would be my goal. Well, I've done that now. I am Mary Wilson, but I still haven't made that enormous leap into being a superstar. And I guess that's probably what I would want to do, and that would encompass the acting, selling millions and millions of records. But more than that, just being good at everything I do. And being good meaning that, I do it well and I still enjoy it, and that people enjoy me, obviously.
Mary Wilson is on her own, trying new things and enjoying them to the hilt.
I told you once, and I don't mind telling my age, and it's probably because I found out, I'm turning 50 in March, right? But I found out that I'm still a child, and so I like the two of them together. I mean, at last I can do what I want to do because I am grown up and I am a woman, but still I'm a child, and I think that's a quality that we all need to sort of nourish and not push down because we're getting older.
The joyfulness of being childlike.
Yeah, I mean, it's like, let's have fun.
She does have fun, and she invites others to get in on the act.
Yeah, I'm here in Irving for the symphony, obviously. And that's a new undertaking for me. And I do lectures, which is a treat for me because I lecture at colleges and things like that. And the symphonies is something that I've always wanted to do. In the Supremes, we had to do rock and roll. I grew up listening to jazz and standards, and I was a big fan of Doris Day, and she you know, she sang with the big bands and all. So I always wanted to sing standards. Why doesn't my heart go dancing?
When Miss Wilson sings the standards, or anything else for that matter, her fans always sit up and take note. This is Kathy Whiteman reporting.